Many of the prenups that we see in our daily practice are not worth the paper they're printed on. They don't cover the key issues. The people that draft these agreements don't understand the fundamentals of a premarital agreement or even a postmarital agreement, which are disclosure, representation by counsel, an understanding of what is going on. I get these all the time. They're done for various purposes. They may be asset protection. They may be parties want to allocate their property, but they just don't do it right. Do you see that?
So many times, and it's sad that people invest money into an agreement and it's not enforceable. You can write anything you want down on a piece of paper and have two people sign it. It doesn't mean that it's going to be enforced in court. It might make you feel good to see that all on paper, but it does not mean that it's going to work when it's needed. And so to have an enforceable agreement, at least in California, there are requirements that have to be met. Both sides in a premarital agreement have to be represented by counsel. There has to be a full financial disclosure before the prenup is signed, and they have to understand what they're giving up. And that's the part that really isn't well documented in a lot of agreements. To prepare a premarital agreement, the lawyer has to be an expert in family law. They can't just dabble in it. They can't do estate planning and try and do a family law premarital agreement. They have to be the expert, and they have to know what happens to people when they go through a divorce. They have to have seen how businesses are lost, how separate property is turned into community property if it's not handled correctly. We have seen those things through handling so many divorce cases that we're able to write a premarital agreement that excludes those kind of things from happening.
I think one of the reasons people write these kind of agreements that aren't enforceable is that they don't want to spend the money, or they don't want to take the time to do the disclosure that's necessary, or they're afraid that if their disclosure is presented to the other party, they'll know how much money they make, how much money they have. So the reasons people do these things is they want to avoid problems. But they're really pushing that ball of problems down the road, and it's going to catch up with them later. So to do an enforceable agreement takes time, takes money, and takes expertise.